Welcome to our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Genesis. Today we are in Genesis chapter 41. We're in the midst of the story of Joseph, and we're about to see the great reversal in the fortunes of Joseph. God is about to raise him up to the appointed position. Now you recall, of course, that Joseph is in prison. 2 years ago, he had interpreted dreams for the butler, the chief cupbearer to the Pharaoh, and the baker to the Pharaoh. The dreams had told what was going to happen. The butler, the cupbearer, was restored to his position as Joseph had told him in interpreting his dream. Joseph had asked the cupbearer to remember him to Pharaoh, but of course he did not. Now 2 years have passed, and Pharaoh has some dreams. Let me read about it to you. 2 full years had passed. Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river came 7 cows. They were sleek and fat. They grazed among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came up out of the Nile. They stood beside those on the riverbank. The cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek, fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep again. He had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted. They were thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy, full heads. And Pharaoh woke up. It had all been a dream. In the morning, his mind was troubled. So he sent for all the magicians, the wise men of Egypt. He told them his dream, but no one could interpret them for him. So Pharaoh has these dreams, 2 dreams that seem so similar. He's troubled deeply by them. He intuitively understands they portend something that is about to happen. They foretell in some way the future, but no one can interpret the dreams for him. He's distressed, and then the chief cupbearer, the butler, speaks up. He says, "Oh, my Pharaoh, 2 years ago when you were angry with me and put me in prison, I had a dream. There was a man there, a Hebrew, who interpreted the dreams. Perhaps he can help you." Pharaoh was desperate, so he sent for Joseph, and Joseph was brought from the dungeon. He told Joseph his dream. He said, "I've had a dream and no one can interpret it. But I've heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." Joseph replied to Pharaoh, "I cannot do it, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires." Here again, the faith of Joseph. I can't interpret the dreams. This is not me, but God can interpret for Pharaoh the dreams. Pharaoh responded. He told the 2 dreams to Joseph. And this is what Joseph said. "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 good years. The 7 good heads of grain are 7 good years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 ugly lean cows that came up afterwards are 7 years. And so are the 7 worthless heads of grain. They are 7 years of famine. God has shown Pharaoh what he's going to do. 7 years of great abundance are coming to the land of Egypt. But 7 years of famine will follow them. Then all the abundance will be forgotten, and famine will ravage the land. The abundance of the land will not be remembered, for the famine that follows it will be so severe." The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh in 2 forms is that the matter has been firmly decided by God. God will do it. Now Pharaoh looked for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. So Joseph tells Pharaoh, God has shown you the future. You're going to have 7 great years of abundance. But the famine that follows those 7 years, the 7 years of famine, will be so devastating, everyone will forget the years of plenty. Pharaoh, God has shown you what is to come. Act wisely. It's firmly decided. That's why you received the dream twice. God has decided this. In his sovereignty, God will do it. If I were you, I would appoint a wise man to be essentially prime minister over Egypt, to use the years of abundance to provide ahead for the years of famine. The plan seemed good to Pharaoh, to all his officials, and he said, "Can we find anyone like this man in whom is the Spirit of God?" Even Pharaoh, this pagan ruler, recognized the Spirit of God in Joseph. Can we find anyone in whom the Spirit of God dwells like this man? And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, and there's no one as discerning and wise as you, you will be in charge of my palace, and all my people will submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. God has engineered the circumstances to raise Joseph to the prime minister of Egypt, the mightiest empire of the day. And now Joseph is second in command. Only to the Pharaoh is he subject. What a reversal of fortune. Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers. Joseph, who thought his life was over. Joseph, who was thrown into prison because of a false accusation. But now, God has raised him up as prime minister of Egypt. And he is in position to be the agent of redemption for his people. Now, the Bible tells us Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. You'll recall that he was 17 years old when he was first sold into slavery. So 13 years have passed. It was a difficult time for Joseph, but God's plan is unfolding. Sometimes we grow impatient with what seems to us the slowness of God in acting, but God is always at work. And if we'll trust him as Joseph did, if we'll hold to him as Joseph did, he will bring about his plan and purpose for our life. God has Joseph in perfect position now to be the agent of redemption. You and I need to trust God and hold to God as Joseph did. We want it said of us that the Spirit of God is in this person, just like Pharaoh saw the Spirit of God in the life of Joseph. Trusting, believing that God will accomplish his plans for our life. His will shall be done. Amen and amen. In our next session, we'll begin to look at how God uses Joseph to redeem his family, to redeem his people from the coming famine. Even the ones who betrayed him, his brothers, Joseph will be their agent of salvation. We'll see that starting our next time together. You have a great day today, and I look forward to seeing you next time together in our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Genesis.